You. Every now and then, cities and counties, their plans and policies, well, they need to be updated. Every city needs to go through this, and the city of Odessa has been called to step up to do their part. News West 9's Jason Freund talked with the city today and the updates made to their water conservation and drought contingency plan. Jason, what do they tell you?
Alex, the TCEQ called upon the city to make those necessary updates they needed to their contingency plan. And while that does sound rather drastic, it's actually more of a housekeeping thing than it is dramatic overhauls. First off, what is the Water Conservation and Drought Contingency Plan? Well, there are a few basic factors that define it.
So there's basically different phases of the plan. So depending on reservoir levels, how much water that we're currently using in our system, it basically kicks in different phases of drought contingency planning.
But as time passes and cities change, water plans have to change with them, which is where the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality comes into play.
Every 5 years, we're required by TCEQ to make revisions to our drought contingency plan. All we're doing is updating our current population, residencies, household tops, things of that nature.
While it may sound like the city of Odessa is being singled out for this, they actually aren't. In fact, cities all across Texas get similar calls to keep contingency plans up to date. Yes, even the city government needs to do their paperwork.
You know, you have the population changes, things change as far as our residency, our house, rooftops and things of that nature. So we just need to make sure that we stay up to date with all the current rules and regulations that are required by TCEQ.
While it may sound like a chore, keeping the contingency plans up to date prepares the city of Odessa for that potential worst-case scenario where they would have to institute water restrictions.
This kind of gives us the template that we need to follow. This is basically the rules and regulations that the city council needs to follow to make sure that they are doing what they can to make sure that we are conserving water. And if we start to get into drought conditions, they follow these regulations and to implement water restrictions.
And while this won't have any major effect in the community of Odessa, the city is still asking residents to follow basic water regulations such as smart irrigation practices and just doing what else they can to conserve water.